Hello everybody, welcome back. Another week of hard work has passed and the developers are doing their best and are working very hard in order to bring us Alpha 3.0 as soon as possible. This very important and huge milestone for Star Citizen. Our main topics for today are going to be the NPC of Star Citizen, the addition of NPC in the persistent universe, a very important feature for the success of not only the Alpha 3.0 patch, but also the success of Star Citizen as a whole, and the engine trails that were shown in the latest Around the Verse and have caused quite the controversy among the backers. Before we go ahead, let's take a quick look at the production schedule report for this week. There aren't any significant changes on the dates. The dates are the same. The Evocati PTU is planned to begin this Friday, July 7th. If that happens, we will have to wait and see, but I'm feeling quite positive after reading the new message that CIG has left for us on the production schedule report page. What they're basically saying is that although some features need more work and will not be complete until later, at a later date, they might start testing, they might start the Evocati PTU and finish what needs to be finished at a later date. This is going to be amazing if it happens, because when the Evocati PTU testing is going to start, it will be a good indication of how close to the official release we are for the Alpha 3.0. If it's not going to happen, it's not the end of the world, we will have to wait a bit longer. So let's talk about the NPC of the persistent universe, the NPC of Star Citizen, which are going to be very important for the success of this game. And this is because Star Citizen is going to be something more than just an empty space. It's going to be a living and breathing universe. And in order to have a living and breathing universe, you need locations full of life. And to achieve this, you will need to have NPC walking around the streets, going about their business and generally living their life, giving us the feeling of being part of the living world. During the last weeks, we have witnessed the improvements and the changes that are happening on the NPC of Star Citizen, mainly on their combat behavior, to be honest, how they should behave when there is combat, when they are fighting someone, or when they are guarding a place and they need to be on alert. Obviously, the developers are working on their general behavior, not only as fighters, but as regular people going about their business in their everyday life. Finally, with Alpha 3.0, we are going to start getting more NPC in game in order to give a better feeling of the world, in order to not walk around Port Olisar or Grim Hex or Levski and feeling like you are wandering in a ghost town. Because right now we do have some NPC in game, but they are static NPC with no means of interaction with them. They are just standing there filling the void, pretty much. With Alpha 3.0, this is going to change. We are going to start getting NPC in the main hub areas of the PU landing zones. We could say that the PU is finally coming to life. The developers right now are working on NPC for Grim Hex. They are focusing on NPC for Grim Hex and they are creating their behaviors. Later, when their behaviors are complete and the developers are happy with their work, they will expand these behaviors on Port Olisar and Levski, in order to create a general sense of ambience, in order to bring the levels to life. And this is an absolutely very welcome change. I would love to have a lot of NPC walking around, working whenever I'm passing a certain location in Levski or Grim Hex or even Port Olisar. Obviously, the goal is to not only add NPC and leave them standing there, doing nothing, and like the NPC, the static NPC, the few static NPC we have right now in game, but we will be able to interact with them, we will be able to buy stuff from them and generally discuss with them later, at a later date. The developers are also working on NPC usables for counters, and this work is going to start showing first with the shopkeepers and the bartenders, which I have to say are looking very realistic right now, and it feels like you are talking to an intelligent entity in front of you, and we will be able to interact with them, buy stuff from them, accept missions, and do pretty much everything that CIG is going to allow us to do with this NPC. When we are talking about the NPC of the Alpha 3.0 update, of course, we cannot ignore Miles Eckhart, one of the two mission givers that we are going to get in Star Citizen, the Persistent Universe with Alpha 3.0, and one of the two most developed NPC, if I dare say. Miles Eckhart and Ruto are going to be the most detailed characters for Star Citizen, at least with the Alpha 3.0 update. We don't know much about Ruto, we barely have seen the guy, but we do know a lot about Miles Eckhart, and I do like his new look. He's looking much more serious and badass than the game's presentation of last year. As we know already, Miles Eckhart will have new missions for us, but in order to access these missions, we will have to unlock Miles Eckhart first by completing other available missions in the Persistent Universe and gaining enough reputation with Miles Eckhart. This is definitely a very interesting gameplay, an interesting aspect of gameplay in Star Citizen, and something I'm pretty sure everybody will love to experience. Another thing I find really impressive about Miles Eckhart is the dialogues, the options we have when discussing with him, when we are having a conversation with him. It feels like we are playing a totally different game. It allows us to have an actual conversation inside specific parameters, of course, but still it is giving a totally different feeling, and it is making Star Citizen a lot more impressive. I would really love to have a conversation with Miles Eckhart as soon as I can unlock him in the Persistent Universe with the Alpha 3.0 update, just to see all the options that the developers have put there for us. Talking about missions, we know that new missions are coming to the game, not only the missions that Miles Eckhart and Ruto are going to have for us, but other missions that we have talked in the past about. And along with these missions, we are also going to have different mission rewards, different than what we have right now, in order to achieve some balance in the Persistent Universe. The balance will not stop there on the missions, but we are also going to see more balanced options for the prices of the various items in the Persistent Universe, the items that we can buy on Grimhex, Port Olisar and Levski. We are going to get new prices for all the new stuff we are going to see in Star Citizen, like new ships, items and armor suits, general FPS items. And the goal of these changes is to achieve better balance in the Persistent Universe, so you will be able to achieve something based on your hard work, based on you completing missions, and not gaining too much or too little money, too much or too little alpha UEC when you are trying to achieve your goals. On some other great news, the Catalyst Black is almost ready. There have been some tweaks in the cockpit area and the rotating nacelles. I really can't wait to get the new and improved Catalyst Black in the game. I think it's going to be the go-to ship for pretty much everything in Alpha 3.0, for trading, for piracy, for even smuggling, for exploring, since it can be combined with one of the two space bikes we have right now, the Dragonfly, and of course the beautiful and amazing Nox, which is still on sale. You have until tomorrow, Monday, July 3rd, if you want to buy, if you wish to grab one of these amazing space bikes, and I would advise you to do it because it looks and will be awesome. In my opinion, the new Catalyst Black, with its new improved capabilities and of course the capacity to carry cargo and one or more space bikes, is going to be the most common ship in the verse with Alpha 3.0, and for some very good reasons. Now let's go ahead and talk about the engine trails that we have seen in the latest Roundiverse and before, to be honest. The developers are working hard on adding engine trails in-game in the Persistent Universe, but not only engine trails, also atmospheric flight effects in order to make the game a lot more beautiful. Beautiful with a high level of quality and a high level of fidelity. The goal of the team working on the engine trails is to make them look good from close, but also from afar, and give you a better feeling when fighting, when you are just flying around in the verse. Right now they are setting the particle libraries for each ship and the correct color values for each manufacturer. They are also working on the atmospheric entry effects, atmosphere exit effects, and contrails when ships and vehicles are moving around at speed on the planets. Now I know that many backers do not like this addition to the game. They feel like the engine trails will turn Star Citizen into more of an arcade game. They will make it look more arcadey. I don't necessarily agree. I kind of like engine trails, not only because they're beautiful, and I like watching beautiful stuff when I'm flying and fighting in Star Citizen, but I also think they will be really helpful for gameplay reasons. First of all, it will be easier to follow an enemy. It will be easy to predict his behavior, where he's flying towards. There have been so many times when I have lost an enemy NPC right in front of me and I'm trying to find them, I'm trying to look for them, trying to figure out where they have a gun, and it can be kind of frustrating. I would love to have engine trails that will provide me with a visual help to find my enemy a bit faster, a bit easier. It is not cheating, like some might say, but I think they are providing a quality of life in game and are making our life a lot easier. After all, Star Citizen is a game and we must enjoy it. At the same time, with the atmosphere on the moons, all the moons in Star Citizen, all the moons in the persistent universe that will come with Alpha 3.0 will have an atmosphere of a certain degree. So I think it is going to be really nice to see the engine trails when you are flying, to see the atmospheric entry effects or the atmospheric exit effects when you are entering the atmosphere or when you are exiting the atmosphere, to see the contrails when you are performing atmospheric flight. I personally find this change amazing and I really can't wait to have it in game. Another reason why I like engine trails is because they will provide the detection element. So when you are flying at a certain area, you will be able to find other people, to find potential enemies coming at you by their engine trails. This is also creating a lot of opportunities for component upgrades. So if you want to be a bit more stealthier, to approach your enemies without being seen, without them noticing your engine trails, there could be some components that you could use and upgrade your vessel in order to not show engine trails. There are many opportunities with this system. I think that the engine trails have an immense potential and they can help Star Citizen become better. They can add value to this project. But this is my opinion. I would love to know what you think about the engine trails, if you want them in game, if you think they are going to help more than hurt the game, or if you'd prefer to have an option to disable them. I would love to hear your opinion about the NPC, the addition of NPC in the persistent universe with Alpha 3.0, and of course about what else, Miles Eckhardt. I honestly think that Miles Eckhardt is going to be the face of Star Citizen, the NPC, the first NPC after all of Star Citizen, the first fully developed at this time with the capabilities of CIG NPC of Star Citizen, and I really can't wait to discuss with him, to have a talk. I hope he won't betray me. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. I am Squid of Love, and I will see you around the verse. Bye bye.